Gosh. Cool. Hello, hello.
Let's fucking go. I'm ready.
I had to figure out my
Not,
widget.
I'm actually tired as hell, but I'm ready to push through 2 episodes and then sit down and do an hour and a half strategic planning session and then sit in 45 minutes of traffic and then cook meal for my mother-in-law because it's her birthday.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
What are you doing for dinner?
Grill up steaks.
Mm.
Yeah, probably get like some tomahawks or something fancy.
Mm.
Yeah.
Where do you get them from?
Because of timing, I'll just get them from the grocery store. Normally I would go to the butcher shop. I don't have time for that.
All right. Well, now everyone knows what your dinner plans are. Yes. Let's kick it off.
Let's go.
All right. Kyle, one of the most powerful... We're recording. There you go. Kyle, one of the most powerful tools and least expensive tools that an agent can utilize to get more business is networking. Would you agree?
I would argue it's the number one tool that every agent should use to get more business.
Good. I hedged and you went full in. So people hear that and they go, cool. But when we also see a lot of people doing either one, they don't know what to do, so they get stuck in this analysis paralysis, or two, they go down a route that they go, oh, I'm networking, I'm checking a box, but they're not really building these deep, meaningful relationships with the right people. So you just need to solve that for everyone in 20, 25 minutes.
Did you realize your shirt has rainbow colored pineapples, many of which are upside down? Have you thought about that at all?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I like the shirt.
I'm just saying, Brian, an upside down rainbow pineapple shirt is going to give off some vibes. So
well, hey, I'm networking.
if you wear that shirt out while you're with your wife, I just want to make sure you understand like the vibes you're giving off.
You know what? I haven't been approached, which says something more about me than my shirt. So far been safe. But hey, maybe I'll get some new friends. Okay, let's talk about networking.
I know some specific friends that would love to hang out with you with your upside down pineapples.
No, thank you.
Cool.
No, thank you.
Welcome to the Whistle Way podcast. My name is Kyle Whistle, your host with eXp Realty in San Diego.
I'm Brian Kochi here at Whistle Realty Group.
The goal of the show is to give you the tools, techniques, tactics, and fashion advice to help you crush it in your business. The way that we like to do that is to answer the questions that you have for us. So if you ever have a question you want to have us answer on the show, you can always go to thewhistleway.com. You can ask us questions on there. Subscribe to the podcast and YouTube channel. Join our private Facebook group and email newsletter where we share a lot of tips and tricks. Get on our referral list for everybody leaving California. And if you want to start creating a lot more content, audio, video, social, love to share everything Brian and I have learned over the last 9+ years of working together in our course called the Media Mayor Mastermind. You can check it all out at thewhistleway.com.
Wonderful.
Are you going to be able to focus now?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
I don't care. To answer your question, Amazon is where I bought this shirt. You know, the fashion site, Amazon. So first, let's dive into Kyle, power of networking. Let's talk about why. Why is this the number one source of value for real estate agents?
For sure. I'll give you a really good example. So we could argue this is networking or sphere of influence, but I ultimately think they're one and the same. So I just got a text message last night from a friend of mine. I used to work with him when I did audio video before real estate. And he's like, hey, this is my friend Kim. There's a house that just came up for sale in the neighborhood. They want to check it out. And within 18 hours, they already have an offer in on that home. We did not have to compete with anybody. We didn't have to wow them with any fancy marketing plan. We didn't have to haggle over commissions. It was just assumed oh, Jeremy says you should work with Kyle. Kim says, bet. And Kim went and looked at a house with one of our agents today and has an offer in. And then we leverage our internal systems, which is a slight rabbit hole here, but we have an internal system in Slack where we have all these channels. One of those channels is Who Knows This Agent. So our agent who showed the property posted, hey, who knows this agent who happens to be the listing agent of the home that he showed them? And lo and behold, one of our agents knows that listing agent extremely well. So she is going to leverage that relationship from networking to help give our agent a competitive edge when putting that offer in on the home. So there's two relationships there that are going to merge together that will very likely put this $800,000+ home under contract within 24 hours of being connected, all because of relationships and networking.
And so what I wrote down is I wrote down connections and relationships, which can lead to referrals.
Yeah.
It is the power of relationships with Sphere. And then I love how you went even a step further of why you should network with agents. Sometimes people go, oh, I'm not trying to recruit. Why would I go to this real estate networking thing? I don't want to grow a team. Well,
also because you're an alcoholic, and all real estate networking events seem to have a lot of alcohol at them.
That's a different podcast. We're doing a different podcast on alcoholism. This is just about networking. So Sphere slash consumers is a networking bucket that you should focus on.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue like that particular one, we networked when we worked together. I networked with, and he actually didn't even work in my store. It was a retail audio video store. He didn't work in my store. I met him networking at like the company events that were done. So arguably I met him via networking. We've obviously become friends ever since. But what's funny is he also now runs a pressure washing business. And this is a really smart way to get referrals from people. I just happened to reach out to him 2 days prior. Hey, I'm looking at my roof right now and I realized I need to get a pressure wash. You know any good pressure washing guys? Because I know he runs a pressure washing business. And he's like, oh, I got you. Sets an appointment. And then lo and behold, within 24 hours, I have an $800,000 referral from him. So that's another thing to know too, is like, as you're networking, a big part of networking is making connections between people or just connecting dots in general. So I connected the dot that I need something done. Let me go to my buddy who has bought a home with me already. So he owns a home. So it's important for me to stay in touch with him. What better way to stay in touch with him than to hand him business? But by doing that, not only did I hand him business, he's grateful. He's so grateful that he then referred business to me. So in your networking efforts, it's very important to understand who it is you're networking with. Keep notes, or at least mental notes at a bare minimum, ideally systematic notes, so that when opportunities like that arise, you can make connections happen. And being a great connector is one of the best ways to be a really good networker.
Awesome. So I think that covers the why, right? Because very clearly you can see by building relationships and going outside of just who you know, right? You met him at this conference or this get together. By going outside, building relationships, they have long lasting benefits. And even if he didn't refer you a client, he probably either was going to do a really good job and or maybe get you a good price or prioritize you and get you on a schedule that you need. Like, those relationships benefit you even if he never referred you a client, right? So I think we understand the why.
Yep.
And we even talked a little bit about the who, which I want to get into more in a little bit, that networking with agents and networking with people that can help buy and sell. Let's start diving into the how. You're like, all right, cool, I'm going to network. Where? What do you do?
Yeah. Oh man. You know what? I did a talk on networking for the Santee Chamber a few years ago. It was so good. I'm gonna find my notes from it. I actually had this list. I think it was, I don't know, 100. Let's just call it 100 questions to ask at networking events. It was really powerful. But you know what's really funny is you don't need that anymore. There's this little service called ChatGPT or Google. Google's actually rolled their AI fully into Google now. Like, you used to have to go to their service called Gemini, and then before that, it was called Bard. You really don't even have to worry about those names anymore. It's just rolled in. If you Google something now, you're getting AI results the same way you would with ChatGPT. So what I would do today, if I'm going to an event, I would just go on to one of these AI platforms and I would type in, like, I am a 42-year-old male real estate agent. I am attending an event. This is the event I'm attending. This is the audience that will be there. This is what my objective is. give me 10 questions that I should ask the people that I meet tonight. And lo and behold, ChatGPT or Google are going to give you 10 really good questions. And then if you get those 10, you're like, yeah, those are cool, but I don't like any of them. Give me 10 more. Give me 10 more. Give me. It'll keep going. At some point, it might stop, but it's probably going to go for way longer than you want it to go.
Yep.
So I've actually done that very recently. Like, I think it was maybe not an event. It was more of like a lunch that I was going, but I knew who I was going with. And I knew a little bit about the person. So I just asked her, like, hey, what are some questions that I should weave into the conversation? And gave me some really good stuff.
Did you write it on your hand and go, next question?
So the photographic memory pays off in that scenario. So that's a great start, because I'm imagining some of you guys that are listening or watching right now, you're like, I don't go to networking events because I don't know what to say. It's the same reason you probably don't make phone calls, because you don't know what to say. And what you're actually saying is you don't want to look stupid, because that's at the end of the day, most people's one of their biggest fears. You, me, and 99.9% of other people in this world
more than you.
have this fear of looking dumb. So why do we not make phone calls? Because we're afraid we're going to get on a phone call, not know what to say, and look dumb. So we just don't make the phone call. It's way easier you can't look dumb on a phone call if you don't make a call. So let's just not make the call, and I won't look dumb. That's easy.
Until you get called out for not making the calls.
Some people would rather get called out for not making the calls. Their fear of looking dumb is so strong that they'd just rather get yelled at for not making the call than making the call and looking dumb. Like that's just reality.
Yep.
And it's the same thing at networking events, right? You don't want to go to the networking event and look dumb because you don't know what to say, or you're going to stand in the corner because you can't think of anything to say. So you stand in the corner and you look dumb standing in the corner, and you don't want to look dumb. So you just don't go. You can't look dumb if you don't go. So you just don't. That's what happens. So I wanted to kind of like start with like an icebreaker. Like, you don't have to know what to say. I don't always know what to say, but I'm not too proud to use technology to help me there. Like, this technology is fucking amazing. Like, why not use it? It's going to help you. It helps you in so many things in business. This is one that a lot of people aren't using it for.
Pretty soon it's going to get the glasses where it's going to scan your face and it's going to tell me about you.
We'll just scan each other's chip. It's Neuralink, I think is the name of it.
Okay.
Elon's already implanting them in people. No, and we're not tinfoiling. This is real. This actually is happening.
My face was not because I didn't believe you.
I got stuck the other day. I had to watch this recording to prep for a big meeting tomorrow. And they sent me the recording of this meeting. And for the first 7 minutes, they're talking about whether or not the pyramids are real. I had to listen to this conspiracy theory about whether or not the Great Pyramids are real. I was like, what?
No, they're real.
The actual fuck is happening?
No,
right
it's a thing. I'm
We're
starting to dive
go
into
down that rabbit hole here, but I had to listen to 7 minutes of your rabbit hole about whether or not the pyramids are real.
No, they're real. We know they're real, but are they a burial ground or not? Like, they're real. We're not saying they don't exist.
If you guys are really into this whole pyramid thing, DM Bryan at Bryan Coachy, and you guys can geek out about the pyramids.
I want to learn more. Anyway, Carry on. Okay, so now I've been derailed.
Yeah, good. That was my strategy.
So now we know
the
why
upside down rainbow pineapples didn't derail you, but the pyramids did.
I like this shirt. It's a great shirt.
Lots of people are gonna like that shirt.
Sure. I mean,
you expanded your audience with that shirt.
Yeah, just more people to disappoint. Carry on. So now we know we can go geared with a list of questions.
Yes.
That makes it easier.
Yes.
How do you find events to network at?
I think the most important thing of the events to attend are the ones that actually interest you. It's a lot harder to go to an event that doesn't have anything of interest to you, where you're like forcing yourself to go, but you're like, most networking events, there's some sort of like speakers, whatever, some sort of content followed by like a happy hour. I would look for the ones that are going to have content that I'm interested in, because guess what? If I'm interested in this content and I'm at this event and you are at this event, you probably have interest in this content. So right off the bat, we have something in common, right? But if you're going to an event, you don't have any interest in the content, now there's less likelihood of you having something in common with the first person you talk to. But if you both went to the same event, you both made a conscious decision that, like, I see value in going to this event because of the content that's going to be delivered. So don't think to yourself, well, I'm not going to have anything in common with anybody there. Yeah, you do. You both chose to go there because of the content that was being delivered. So start with that. Like, you already have that in common.
And I love that, because I think a lot of people will try and reverse engineer, and they go, oh, I want to work luxury, right? And so, oh, I'm going to do luxury events. But I am not one to go to coffees and cars. I don't drink coffee, and I once owned a brand new Ford Fiesta. So if you know anything about cars, you know I'm not a car guy. That's just what it is.
You do have a Tesla, though. I mean, you're on trend right now.
I do. Am I on trend? I feel like I bought a Tesla because everyone already had one, and now like the Rivian and everything else is new. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm sufficiently behind the curve still. So find something that you're interested in. Where do you find these events?
So being in real estate, there should be a lot of events that are just landing in your inbox, whether you want them or not. I know that there's a magazine, it's called Real Producers. And I think it's just because like our Real Producers in San Diego has some of the best events. Jessie, who runs it's phenomenal. She does a great job. Her events are always top notch. Like, she's known, every event she does sells out. But these are all independently run. There's obviously some good leadership teaching her and the other. I don't know if it's technically a franchise or how that works, but each city has its own person running the magazine. But I have a lot of friends who go to the Real Producers events, whether they're here in San Diego or in Orange County or in Colorado Springs, where Treasure's at. She loves going to their events. We're just up there. So Real Producers tends to put on some really good events. So there's that. Your local association is typically doing events. And then even within that, they tend to have all these subgroups. There's a YPN, a Young Professionals Network. There's a WCR, Women's Council of Real Estate. There's a lot of diversity organizations. There's NAREP, which is National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. There's ARIA. That is Asian Real Estate Association of America. There's NAREP, National Association of Real Estate Brokers. Like, there's all of these different groups that exist out there.
What was the women's one? The
WCR, Women's Council of Real Estate.
Cool.
So there's these groups too, where if you come from that diverse background, you go there, right? You go to the Asian Real Estate Association of America. If you're of Asian descent, like, not that you have to, I go to their events. I go to all the different events. Not that you have to be of Asian descent to go to their events, but if you do, you're probably going to have something in common, right? With other people, if that's your background. So there's, simple stuff like that. If I'm young and I go to a Young Professionals Network event, I'm probably going to have something in common with other young people. If I just signed up for
no cap.
There's a, yeah, brah. Yeah. Stand on business. That's what's up. So I signed up for this group called Tiger 21, and it's a new group to me. Like, I don't know anybody. I didn't join because I know somebody who said I should join. I did my research. I'm excited to be a part of this group, but they just sent something out that they're doing a retreat for the 45 and under members. I'm like, that's me, right? I'm 45 and under. I want to go to that event more than the global event, which is everybody, because the probability of me having stuff in common with the other people that are 45 and under is a lot higher than if I go to the event that everybody's at. And there's a bunch of, maybe that's all 60 and 70-year-old people. I'm way more likely to have stuff in common because I know everybody there's 45 and under like I am.
So let's keep on with the real estate networking, because I do want to transition a little bit to talk about consumer networking and how we find that and do that. But real estate networking, we've got all these events. We have a list of questions to ask. We're prepped. We're ready to go. We're going because we have something in common with everyone. We want to learn about open houses or diversity in the workplace or whatever it is, right? When you get there and you have the questions to ask, say there's 50 people, is your goal to, I know your goal is not to go, and I've had this happen at a real estate event. I give a 35% referral fee, call me. I give her a 35% referral fee, call me. And she just went every person in the room. Like, that's zero value being added. So we obviously know we don't want to do that.
That was my strategy when I was like 21 at the bar. That worked.
Okay. And we also don't want to stand in the corner and look weird. So what's the sweet spot? How
I treat it a lot like an open house.
Okay.
I treat networking events like open houses. So when I'm hosting an open house, I want to try to talk to everybody. But once I get into a good conversation, I tend to lock in on that conversation. The saying that I have when it comes to open houses is never leave a good conversation for a hopeful conversation. So if I'm at an open house and I'm locked into a good conversation and somebody walks in the door, I'm going to acknowledge them. I'm not going to like just ignore them, but I'm not going to leave the good conversation for that hopeful conversation. And I'm the same way at networking events. Like I'm going around, I'm meeting people, having some conversations, asking some of the questions that AI gave me. But if I get into a really good conversation with somebody, like I'm going to stay locked into that conversation. I'm not at these. It's not a speed networking event. Now there could be speed networking events, obviously. That's a whole different strategy. But if I'm at a traditional networking event, if I could just walk away with 1 to 2 good connections, I consider that a success. So I'm not trying to go wider. I'm trying to go deeper for sure at these events. So I'm trying to find as I'm having conversations, and I realize like, oh, like she's like my people, right? Like I like this person. And I'm going to key in on that and I'm going to go deeper. And if I start talking to somebody and I'm like, there's not a connection here, I'm going to bounce to the next one until I find that connection, get in a good conversation, and I'm going to lock into that. And if it's one real good conversation from the night, great. If it's multiple, that's great too.
And then how do you follow up with this?
Yeah, so I love to get everybody's contact information. Call me old school, but I still believe in a business card at networking events. We all I have it myself, the QR code thing, right? But the problem is when you go to an event, you scan somebody's QR code, you get their contact info, they get yours. Like, how do you even remember who's you scanned the night before? Like, how do you remember it? Now, if the QR code like gave me their info and then it forced them to take a picture of themselves and it put it in my phone, like, and it sent me a text, like that would be better. But most of these things are just like scanning and getting each other's info and not much happens from there. So you could use those. I prefer honestly to not use those apps. If somebody's like, oh yeah, I'd love to get your info, I'll just, hey, give me your phone real quick. And I'll take their phone and I'll text myself. So now I have a text message in my text inbox. So now that's my trigger after the event to follow up with that person. So I actually like that better than the QR code thing, but preferably I just want a business card. If they have business cards, I typically just go with a 2-pocket kind of game. One pocket is the people like I really connected with and want to follow up with, and the rest is just people that I met.
Because it's rude to go, no thanks, I don't need your card. We won't tie.
Yeah. And then I've learned actually from going to ARIA events, I actually have learned how to receive a business card and what to do with the business card once it's received. It's actually could be offensive to take a business card in some cultures and to put it in your back pocket because you're like literally sitting on it, and that could actually be seen as a sign of disrespect. So just
I usually like to put it in my back pocket because I got a bunch of stuff in my other pockets.
Yeah, fun fact. So it's just a little habit when you take business cards, don't put them in your back pocket. Put them in one of your front pockets. Or if you have like a shirt pocket or a purse, that's fine, but don't put it in your back pocket.
And then one of the thing that you said, you text them right away. I love
the text comes through, and that triggers me to follow up later. So I'm all about a video. I'm huge on video. Like this morning, I sent 3 videos just out to team members. You were on the huddle this morning, I think. It was a really good huddle. Like I sent Jenny a video because I was proud of her for stepping up. I sent Carly a video because it was such a cool like leadership moment for her and Adrian. So like I sent all 3 of them a video. Those videos just hit so different than like, great job, Jenny. And the video is like 10, 15 seconds long. It's not like I'm writing or like, delivering a speech. I'm just giving a 10, 15 second video, but those are so impactful. So it's nice too, when you follow up with somebody, you send them a video saying, hey, it was great to meet you. What that does for that person, just in case they didn't remember me, now they have my face. Now they remember me. And guess what happens? If I send them a video, more often than not, they're going to send me a video back. And now I got the face.
The other thing that I really like about doing some sort of follow-up, whether it be a video or not, I like to try to kind of talk about what we talked about there. So that way, when I go, oh, yeah, Mike does roofing, I'm like, I don't remember anything about Mike. And then I can see that our text thread or our video and be like, oh yeah, I forgot he's got kids and blah, 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 blah. Like that helps me when following up with them again a year later, 6 months later, to really remember who they are. Yeah. Okay. All great stuff on real estate stuff. Now let's kind of flip it. If we say, okay, I don't want to just meet real estate agents. What would be 1 or 2 great places? I can think of 2 off the top of my head, but I want to know where you're going with this, to meet with people that can help your business that are outside of the real estate agent side of things.
I think I understand where you're trying to lead me, so I'll go with you. The Chamber of Commerce
That's the one.
is huge, right? Like we've established so many connections across East County, which is the region of San Diego we do a lot of business in. We cover the whole county. We cover parts of Riverside County, but where kind of planted our roots as we built this business was in the East County portion of San Diego, and building relationships with the different chambers of commerce in all these different cities. They were great catalysts for us meeting all of the different business owners, and we did it via video. So if you guys have never seen our channel, go to our Instagram, just go to Everything East County, at Everything East County. And you could check out our Instagram. Like we do all these interviews with different business owners, mostly restaurants. But we get all those connections from the Chamber of Commerce. They just introduce us to all the other business owners, which is fantastic. So your chamber can be an absolutely great resource. And of course, there's going to be other real estate agents in the chamber, but like we did it different than all the other real estate agents. Like we created video content for all the other members. So all the members loved us above the traditional real estate people.
And what's great about that is the chamber, you're meeting other business owners. And a lot of times you can send them referrals. You've got roofers, you've got tile people, you've got electricians. Like I can't tell you how many referrals I've sent out to that group. And so now not only am I building relationships with Mike, who's not a roofer, he's an electrician. But so like I've used him, my dad has used him. I know people at Whistle have used him. And so it's great because now I'm sending him business, but also it makes us look good to our clients when we say, I got someone, I know they're good, I know they're reliable, I know they'll take care of you. Just call Mike. You don't have to interview 9 different people. He'll take care of you. And so it makes us look good to our clients, but also builds great relationships with those vendors that, I mean, I can't think of many businesses that in the chamber that we can't refer people to. So there's that. Give one more.
Yeah. The other one, I mean, these are 2, but they're effectively the same, is you just got to find, there's a saying like your vibe attracts your tribe, but like find your vibe. What is your vibe? Are you into hiking? There's a group called like Hike It Baby, right? That's all people that like to go hiking with their babies, their kids. Just find your people. And so the 2 best places to find your people is Facebook groups are great. Like whatever you are into, there's a freaking group for it. If you're into upside down rainbow pineapples like Brian, like there's a group for that. There's lots of groups. There's lots of groups for that. For all you guys that are into that stuff, make sure you invite Brian into those groups. So there's that. So Facebook is great. Also meetup.com. Meetup, that's literally what it's for. It's other people that want to meet up with people that have similar interests. So just go on Facebook and just type in whatever your interest is and then look for the groups, and then same thing on Meetup. And you're just going to find people that are into the same vibe as you, that are into the same activity. So it's just so much easier to network when you're around like-minded people that have similar interests. So that would be my best advice.
Good. I love that. And I love the Facebook groups and Meetup because it applies to everyone. I think Joe mentioned Joe Turko. He came and spoke to our agents today. But like if you have kids networking with PTA members, or help coach the soccer team, or volunteer at Boys and Girls Club, or however you can get involved in what they're involved with, it's a 2-for-1. So I love that as well. Very cool.
Awesome. Well, hopefully you guys are getting good content out of this. If you are listening on a podcast platform, make sure to subscribe. And then also, if you can write a little review on there for us, some of these platforms, all you got to do is just click how many stars. Some you can write a piece as well, but those podcast reviews mean the world to us, so they're greatly appreciated. And if you're listening or watching on YouTube, make sure to hit the thumbs up, let YouTube know you're enjoying the content. If you have questions, throw them in the comment section. Brian and I respond to all of those personally. And if you want more of our content on there, hit the subscribe button and the little notification bell. YouTube will take care of the rest. Before we wrap up today, we like to finish with something we refer to as the Whistle Widget of the Week. This is something we utilize in our business. It saves us time, makes us more money, or just helps us have more fun. What do you got for us, Brian?
Mine is not so much the widget, but more the strategy behind it. And so it's something that we all have access to, that we all have with us at this very moment, I'm sure, which is just using your phone, right? And using the camera on it. One of the things that I love to do, as we were talking about networking, I thought about this. I love to here's a fun little strategy, is just take a couple pictures at an event, whether this is at, you're going to the Chamber of Commerce, you can take a couple pictures or some video of the event, and then you can send it to the event organizer. Really build value with the movers and shakers, right? You go to a real producer event and you take some big group photos to show how great it is and send it to them. What would you say her name was? Jessica, Rachel?
Jesse.
Jesse?
Right? Yeah.
Hey, Jesse, the Real Producers event was amazing as always. I took some photos. Feel free to use it on social. I love doing so. Like, you can do it for events. I've done it for people that are speaking on stage. Again, just a great way to build relationships with people that have influence. You can also utilize it at small things. I did it at my my daughter's friend's birthday party. I went around and took photos of the kids, and then I was able to say, hey, what's your phone number? I'll send you a photo of your kid. Or I send it to the dad who hosted it. Hey, here's a bunch of photos. I know you were being involved in your kid's birthday party. I took some photos. So that really builds value and deepens that relationship by doing something that you have access to, and it's very easy. I'm not taking artistic photos, just quick little snaps.
Cool. I don't have a networking related one, but this is just a fun little thing I found on Instagram. So have you ever posted a story and then realize you forgot to tag somebody, typically your wife, forgot to tag somebody in the post?
Often.
And then you're like, damn it. And now I got to like delete the story. I got to go repost. I got to retype it. I got to refine the music. I got to redo all that. You don't. So you could actually post a story. If you forgot to tag somebody in it, you can go back to the story, hit the menu option, and then do mentions. And you could go back and add somebody to your Instagram story even after you've posted it. So really easy way, just in case you forgot to tag someone, because my wife forgets to tag me all the damn time. That's how I learned about this, is just go back to the story, menu, mentions, add the person, and now they're tagged and they can share it to their story as well.
Awesome.
Yeah. So sometimes I've had stuff where I maybe at a networking event, I'll find a way to weave this in. You meet some people at a networking event. Maybe you post a photo from it, but you like didn't have their Insta at the time. And then the next day you come to the office, you have a little bit of time to like go back and add everybody on Insta. So go back, add them, and then you can go and add them as a tag/mention on the story. And now they get that notification that you tag them in that photo. They're more likely to share it. And now you're strengthening that relationship.
Love it.
Awesome. Cool, guys. Well, hopefully you got a lot of value out of the show today. I enjoyed this one quite a bit. I'm excited for to see where Brian's upside down rainbow pineapple career goes from here.
It's just, Kyle, you ruined this shirt for me. I love this shirt. It's my quietest.
A lot of people are going to love this shirt.
It's my quietest of my loud shirts, and now you're trying to make it bad.
Oh.
Next, you're going to say the taco cat is somehow phallic, jerk.
Well, there's like a upside down one staring at me. That's what I just can't get away from. But it's right there. It's just staring at you. But it's cool. Well, we'd love to stay connected. If you guys want to follow Brian and I at Brian Kochi, at Kyle Whistle. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Whistle Way Podcast. We'll see you next time.
All right, don't leave because I'm doing my intro and then we're doing one more. Or you can leave for